Hey there, I'm Critsy. Welcome back to Sorcery 4. Last time we were exploring towers, and this time there's a tower here to explore. It has a narrow opening in the dark gray stone. I would expect that would be a window or something, but I'm probably gonna get my face blasted off, but I'm gonna look through it. Look through the narrow opening. The tower's opening is barely wide enough for you to slip inside while wearing your broadsword. It is a curious design, as though a normal door was built, and then the tower itself was stretched. You can make out nothing from within. Alright, slip inside, sure. What's the worst that can happen? I have to experience my own death and then rewind back to a point where I'm still aware of it because I experienced it as a vision? That's probably traumatic. Okay. I'll avoid it. You squeeze through the narrow opening. The passage beyond does not widen, but a warm breeze tickles your face as you approach the heavy inner door. Listen at the door. You pause to listen, only to make out a quiet groaning coming from through the door. Open the door. You move through the door into a narrow, tall room. Inside the tower. It's probably something's breath, right? That's why it was warm. The chamber is wider than the doorway suggested, and it is cluttered, and numerous skeletal bodies lie here, scattered around the base of an altar on a raised I don't know how to say that word. Overhead, something dark and shadowy looms, indistinct. Look at the skeletons. Pieces of skin and rags cling to the bones of the skeletons. A moment later, you have a terrible sense that somewhere, some of them have moved. Don't look up. Search the room. You step up to the center of the room, and another drip of water leaks from something overhead, splashing into a puddle on the altar. Some of it scatters from the impact, landing on a nearby skeleton. A moment later, the jawbones open, emitting a quiet groan. The skeleton, with only patches of skin left on its face, begins to struggle and try to stand. Oh, this is the res room, right? Oh yeah, I get it now. It's holy water. It's dripping holy water. Help him up. Help the poor guy up. You reach out to help him up. The jawbones flap as the skeleton begins to talk. What happened? It whispers, unclear where the breath comes from. Why am I here? I've done this plenty of times before. You are dead. I am. The skeleton's thin voice shivers away into silence. He looks up at the dark shape that hangs overhead. Ilman, is that truly you? Another drip falls from above, striking a corpse on the other side of the altar. Its one remaining eye rolls wildly in response, but she lacks a jaw and cannot cry out. Oh, well, I know what the opposite of this spell is. It's Zed. Well, wait. No, I probably don't want to look. I'll look up. You turn your gaze upward. Hung from the ceiling is the half-rotted head of a great whale. The head is suspended by cruel hooks, roughly shoved through its flesh. The wounds have turned purple and putrid from time. Gross, poor guy. Look closer. The whale head is ancient, but so large it has taken this long to decay. Its mouth hangs open, but maggot holes peek through its great jaws. Look further. Looking closer, you can see the creature's tongue has been slit open. There is a steady drip of clear water running from it. Oddly, there is no stench. Surrounded by such decay, your nostrils should be filled, but there is nothing. Observe the skeletons. The reanimated skeleton staggers back against the altar. He looks around again and then walks off in a random direction. The second skeleton seems fixated on the whale's head now. From a savage wound where her jaw should be comes a strangled gurgle which might be weeping. Can I help this guy? Let's walk up to the altar. You step up towards the altar, but the animated skeleton moves quickly to block your way, loosely gripping a rusty sword. You cannot touch the holy place. It is for the holy ones alone. Talk to the skeleton. I wish to talk to you, you say to the skeleton. The skeleton looks this way and that, as though hunting for you. Who's there? its voice raspy. Who are you? I am a sorcerer. He recoils. Sorcerers! No! I have dealt with your kind before. You are treacherous and cruel. The skeleton shakes so hard his bones rattle in their sockets. A bony hand lifts to the brow of the skull and clutches as though desperate in thought. What is that head doing on the ceiling? Ilman. Ailman? The skull clenches its teeth, perhaps trying to smile. Ailman is God, the spirit of water, takes the form of a whale. The whale up there? Of course not. Gods have no single form. Is Elman a kind of god? What? I already know that. Water is life, Ailman is water. You should join us, friend. He holds out an empty hand, fingers extended. Can I? Can I worship Ailman? You have died, you tell the creature gently. That is why you cannot remember. Don't be so foolish. Don't be foolish. I'm as alive as you are. I'm not as alive as you might think. You reply, still remembering the feeling of death's icy claws. You are a fool. Although I remember pain. Magic has resurrected you. He grips his blade. Sorcery! You have tricked me! This is an illusion! The skeleton begins to ask you a question, but then staggers back as though struck. He falls to the ground, dead. Wait. You wait. After a few seconds, another drop of water splashes against him, and he sits up with a howl. Where am I? He says. Once more, the skeleton waves around the sword in front of the altar, although he does not remember you. As though he does not remember you. Cast the spell. Alright. Poor guy. Can't cast Zed here. I can cast God, though. Rock. 6. Rock, of course. Doze? Dud. Illusion of treasure. Poor dude. I want to figure out how I can help him out of here. Free this poor innocent water god. Alright, I'm gonna cast God. Let's see what happens. Reaching up to the constellations above, you create the spell and your jewel of gold begins to shine. A moment passes and the skeleton suddenly raises both of its hands in supplication. Elman! It cries. You visit us! Bless us! Save us! Bless him? Sure, bless him. You hold out a hand and murmur indistinctly for a moment. The skeleton visibly relaxes. Now I know I shall return to the sea, even when I die. So saying, he collapses on the spot. The first skeleton staggers in your direction, hand outreached in horror. But as he nears, though, he begins to twitch and choke, until finally he takes a faltering step and collapses to the ground, dead once more. Walk to the altar. You step again towards the altar. Water drips again from the whale's head, splashing onto the near skeleton. Before your eyes, he raises up again, ancient bones creaking. The skeleton blocks your way once more. What are you talking about? I'm gonna God again. Alright, hang on. Get out of my way. Let me pass. The skeleton scrambles immediately out of the way, eager to let you through. The altar, yes. Do I get a picture? I hope not. Look at the altar. The altar is a simple stone block with a few simple carvings of waves and waving plants. Scratched into the stone is a simple glyph. 4 slashed lines. So it's not like a number, it's... Look at... You touch the glyph. It is crudely carved. A later edition, perhaps. Don't collect any of the water. Pray at the altar. I'm afraid that I really will actually convert to Ilman. There's a clear space before the altar. You kneel and bow your head. The dripping of the water of the carcass overhead slows and deepens, becoming a gentle sound of the tide as you feel the presence of the whale god, Ilman. I don't know. But the voice is distant, confused. The sluggish movements of the whale are transformed, weakened, and defined by violence. Pledge myself? Oh, I just want to save it, dude. Stand. You stand from the altar, once more, without further supplication. Clamber onto the altar. The whale is now within arm's reach. Strike down the head, touch the head. Look at the head. Now you are close. You can see the whale's head is quite putrid, the wound on its neck ragged and savage. Strips of skin hang off the stump, frozen at the start of decomposition. Its great mouth hangs open, which you could easily fit inside. The iron hooks holding it aloft were roughly shoved in. Poor dude. This creature was hung up while still whole and alive. Touch the head. You touch the side of the jaw. The flesh is spongy and moist. It's a gesture of compassion, okay? And murky water seeps out from the pressure. It sways slightly, changes, creaking. The head is warm, somehow. And for a moment, a distant, massive presence slides through your mind. Look inside the mouth. The water dripping from its mouth wells up in the inside of the tongue in a seemingly endless supply. Is this why the head is here? Did someone, perhaps the Archmage, capture and kill a god for a source of sanctified water? Strike down the head. Free it! You draw your blade. It is the only honorable thing you could do. Then you swing away, sending great hunks of flesh from the head, striking near the hooks. The great weight begins to tilt. You leap away from the altar just as it crashes down. Water spills from it, dark and slick. It's the only honorable thing you could do. Look at the head. The whale's head sits on the altar, crumpled inwards where one jawbone was smashed. The skeletons around the altar are collapsing and not walking. You have disrupted whatever curse lay upon this chamber. Take a hunk of the whale flesh? Alright. You go to cut a hunk of whale flesh, but it's crawling with maggots and shot through with putrescent rot. You stagger away, disgusted. Look at the pooled water. You dip your fingers into the water. It does not sparkle or give off any sanctity. It is blood spew. You stumble back from the horror of the altar and towards the doorway from the now silent chamber. Dude. I'm glad that I wish that I could have, done some kind of, ceremony to properly, free its spirit or something. That would have been cool, but, man. You step out onto a stone walkway that leads sharply down to the crystal dome. Look into the dome. You pause to peer at the depths of the orb. 1,000 shapes dance within, shifting and changing as though you saw the reflections from the eyes of 100 different people. The effect is quite mesmeric. Touch the dome. You reach out and touch the orb and find yourself elsewhere. You are standing at the top of a high tower, facing an old man wearing a shabby-looking crown. "Beg," the old man declares. "Take the crown." You find yourself dropping to your knees, begging like a whining dog. "I will destroy your land. Do you understand me? You will aid me. I will never help you." You open your mouth to argue, but all that comes out is a single word. Yes. What follows is a kind of nightmare. You are dragged, fighting inside, placid, outside, down the steps of a turret, towards a cell, and hurled inside. "We will come for you when it is time," says the Archmage. You shake yourself. You are back outside the glass dome. Touch it again. You reach out and touch the orb, but see only what you saw before. Okay. What if I properly cast Far now? Oh, dang, I can't. Okay, well, I already know what counters, Far. Dop. Far spell, then. You cast the spell. No door opens in the dome, if there even is one for the spell to act on, but the spell does not fail. and it does seem as though the images inside the orb fade and the dome goes dark. A forest spell, then. Countered by your enchantment. For what purpose, exactly? Nothing happens when I touch the dome. Okay. So what else can I do? Why can I still cast a spell? Zap. Dop. How. Sus. Sap. Why would I sap? Like, in this situation, what would that do for me? Whatever. I guess move on. I did it. You look away from the orb. The path encircles the dome quite freely. Time to move on. To the southeast, comes a fearsomely bright light from one of the towers. From one of the cowers. Thinking I'll go around to this red tower. Well, gosh, I still don't know the best way. Because I don't want to, like, end up having to, like, backtrack a ton. And it doesn't look like these towers connect. Gosh, I never went to these either. But, like, the thing is, if I go this way, I'm going to end in this direction. I'm just going to explore the corner and then go back one... Wait. Just had to check something off screen. Path winds between crumbling towers and dagger-like buttresses. The sun begins to dip, heading towards the horizon. The path runs up to the far wall of the citadel, passing dangerously close to a large circular pit in the ground. Jump into the hole. No looking, no... Okay. Look at the pit. The pit is large and perfectly circular, descending into the bare rock below some distance. Curiously, the water all around does not seem to flow into the hole. Thought I heard somebody yelling outside. Tell? Hello. Yeah, okay. Tell. Oh, okay. Looking into the stars, you craft the magic, but rather than receiving any thoughts, instead the rock chasm in front of you suddenly disappears, replaced by a squat stone tower. A counter spell, then. So the magic of telepathy counters the pattern of invisibility. Oh, interesting. Look at the tower. The tower, now you can see it, seems quite unremarkable. It is less overgrown than some of the others. Perhaps invisible plants cannot absorb light. The tower appears quite normal now, more normal than many of the others you have seen. The path away from the invisible tower forks. Now let's go into the invisible tower. The wind picks up as the evening draws on. Soon it will be dark once more. You follow the path and make your way into the tower uncertainly. What is this place? Why was it built? The inside of the tower is bare and compared to the others you have seen, quite ordinary. There is no furniture or ornamentation, or at least none that you can see. In the center of the room is some kind of brass contraption. Look at the contraption. The contraption is a brass figurine, heavily stylized. Its arms are raised, and it appears to be dancing. Glittering from the upraised finger is a ring. Take the ring? You slip the ring from the contraption. It is a pearl ring, and is the same like the one you already own. So just put the pearl ring on the contraption. You put the ring... Oh my goodness, what the heck? Whatever. You slip the pearl ring back onto the contraption. The tower begins to shimmer into invisibility once more, leaving you standing over a seemingly infinitely deep space. The yawning gap below triggers a primordial fear, and you are outside before you can even help yourself. Ay. Cast the spell. I'm gonna see what happens if I search the room. Or, nah, it's probably just the invisibility ring, right? I'm gonna try. So, it looks like it's, whatchamacallit. Oh, glyph. Oh, now I remember. Shucks. I should have kept the ring. Look. Where else were the other numbers? I remember one was in the No, not the goblin room. Gosh. One was over here. Two were over here, actually. I'll examine them later. I don't know what the glyphs are for, exactly. Anyway. Make a move. Path from the invisible Tower of Forks. I'm thinking... I go down through these, and then around to that tower, then back down, and then through there. Yeah. Okay, so into the next tower. You approach the next tower. A gloomy silence descends. From the doorway comes a steady, clock-like ticking sound. One moment, though. Okay. You approach the next tower. Did I already read this? I went AFK for a second. A gloomy tower descends. From the doorway comes a steady clock-like ticking sound. There we go, now I remember. Go inside. You step inside, and the ticking sound grows louder. Something heavy swooshes slowly past over your head. The looming presence is oddly comforting, and you find your eyelids starting to doze. Oh, I know this one. This is Doze. This is Daz. Oh, uh-oh. Yep. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. I probably only have, like, one shot with this. Zob... Oh my god, I could summon a... Man, I told you, if I run into one single moment where I can summon a rock giant and I regret not being able to, I'm going to immediately go straight back to that time that I wasted a rock demon fang to do nothing in the start of it. Man. Whatever. Zob. Yep, there it is. I can, of course, cast Gad. I bet it's Gak. I bet Gak's the opposite of Doze. Gak. Oh no! You weave the enchantment over your... you weave the black face med enchantment, but with nobody about for the spell to affect, nothing happens. No, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit, because when I was up here, and I cast Gak on the tower, it made me turn around and leave because my character was too scared. I remember specifically, with nobody to cast Gak on nearby, I cast it on myself. That was the thing that happened over there. What do you mean, with nobody here for Gak to affect, I must leave. I mean, whatever. I turn back, I'm gonna go back in. We'll be here all night. I'm probably gonna be, like, super beat up by the time I get out of here. Go inside. Cannot keep your eyes... Oh! You know what, I had to go to sleep anyway. You go inside, the ticking grows louder. Something moves in the belfry of the tower overhead. Once again, you begin to feel a great tiredness. And you cannot keep your eyes open. You lie down where you stand in the middle of the floor and are quite quickly asleep. A pair of rich black eyes are focused on you. A figure in shadow purrs your name. The voice is rich, beautiful, and compelling. Flanker? I'm here for you. Flanker who's Aliana again? Flanker murmurs softly in return. I will take your hand. Through it all, you feel the heat of Analan burning, should your quest fail. Darkness closes in. Eventually, your eyes open once more. Several hours have passed. Oh, excellent. Got a nice rest. Cast a spell. I want to see, is there any counter I can do, or is it just done? Because I didn't figure out the... Well, wait. Doze... do I have a counter? Like, is Doze the counter of something? D-O-Z. No. Nope. I can only cast Dop. So it's not Gak. Real quick, is Doze the opposite of something? Zob, gum, gob, raz, walk, law, foff, zap. Hot, holla, wall, dumb, big, dop, sus, jig, job, gum, doc, dud. Doze. No, Doze is not the opposite of anything. Alright, so there's gotta be... Man... Guess the spell. Counters... Oh, come on! What? Wait, am I thinking of the wrong spell? What's Doze again? Cast spawn any... Oh, that's slow, idiot! I could have cast the right spell the whole time. You know what? I needed a nap. I needed a nap. It's like, you know, magical sleep aids. Don't even worry about it. Nap spell, then. And that was undone by your enchantment. Yep, I did it. Alright, I'm going up here. Oh, I could have gone in from there. I didn't think there was a doorway between those, but whatever. You ascend onto the walkway flung high between the two towers and set against the outer wall of the citadel. Oh, the view is down. The view down is dizzying. Okay. Smoke from the burnt-out tower below makes you choke. Look around. You look around at the sprawling towers that fill this region of the citadel. They all appear ancient, featureless, but they are in excellent repair. Some power is holding their dark gray stones together. Not the one down there, not the one that's in ruins. You move your way carefully across the bridge. You race over to the next tower before the wind can pluck you. Already seen that one. As you open the door and step through, someone else enters from the other side. He closes the door just as you do. It's like Kin, right? Or did I already see Kin? Look at the stranger. You peer at the figure opposite. Seeing his face is difficult somehow. Your eyes seem to slide off his features. The stranger is peering back at you, but not approaching. It's a mirror, right? Look around the room. Look around the room. It is wide, ringed with chairs. There are scuffs on the floor, 2 semicircles near the center of the room. A large pane of glass stands center of the room. Sitting in an elaborately carved frame, the stranger stands, watching you. Greet them. You raise your hand, and the stranger does so in return. Hello, you say. Goodbye, he replies. Who are you? You ask. Where am I? I wouldn't say that's the opposite of who are you. But whatever. Even speaking to him, you cannot seem to look directly at his face. Welcome to my life, alright? Just let it be like that. How did you come here? I never left. Are you a creature of magic? I am a matter of fact. Do you know about spells? I have forgotten swordplay. The creature agrees. I think he's real good. Do you know the Zed spell? I cannot cast the spell of resurrection. I cannot cast the spell of resurrection. Do you know the Kin spell? I have lost the spell of sixes. Do you know the spell of invisibility? I cannot read minds. As you are talking, the two of you have edged closer and closer together. You now stand on either side of the glass in the middle of the room. It is a mirror. The stranger approaches and pauses on the other side of the mirror. Cast a spell. Can I cast 6? I can. Abracadabra! Yep. A moment later, it shatters and collapses. The glass lies in shards all around the frame. Some of them catch the light oddly. The stranger, your reflection, steps back, clutching at his chest. Are you unwell? I'm fine! He's clearly staggering. Just wait. You pause, seeing how the reflection will act. He paces near the frame, seemingly unable to approach. Call out a challenge. You bellow out a challenge, declaring that you will settle your differences in combat. There is no response. Instead, the reflection plants its feet in front of the door, waiting with impassive expression. Step forward. You step through the empty frame, glass crunching under your feet. The reflection draws his sword, unaffected by your movements. It seems he is now free to act. Leave me, he says, "or I will send you back." "Back where?" "There," he snarls, pointing at the mirror. "I will not fall for your tricks. You may look like me, but I know you are only an apparition." "You are the apparition." The other laughs. "Ha! Hardly. I've journeyed long to reach this path. Let us work together." "Oh, no." The other nods his head. "You will not trick me." And with that, he turns and races from the room. A moment later, all goes black, and you find yourself outside. You sheath your blade outside the tower, glad to be away from the mirror demon. Yeah, I don't get it. I would have loved to team up with my mirror self, even if I had to speak in opposites. You move along the next tower. Sorry, jeez. I just sniffled directly into the microphone. You move over to the next door, heavy chill sets about your shoulders, you should find somewhere to sleep. I already did sleep, for like several hours. This tower has a dirt floor into which various lines have been scratched. A chest sits in the middle, rather obvious bait for whatever trap this room represents. Enter. You step a little further into the room. Apart from the chest, the tower is quite empty, identical to any other of the rooms of the college. Yeah, that's how you say that sentence there. Save for its dirt-covered floor. Several zigzagging trails have been left in the dirt. Prod at the ground. You use your sword to poke at the ground just in front of you. It immediately and violently explodes, and you leap away from the shower of fire and dirt. Is this a minefield? Because I know what mines are. It's like a field where you mine in, right? That's why this character believes that a dirt explosion, whatever. Leap away from a shower in dirt minefield. Prod ahead. Toss something, cast a spell. Oh yeah, pop. As wall is the opposite of pop. Wall. Something must have occurred when you cast that spell. Rush to the chest. You rush towards the chest happily and do not explode. The room appears safe. A pop spell that was opposed by your enchantment. Just open the chest, don't look at the dirt. You open the chest and are somewhat surprised to discover that there actually is something inside. A small scrap of paper. You cast your eyes over the scrawled poem. The first is of fire, the second of stone, the third is unseeable, and the fourth is unknown. Oh yeah, it's the Throbendor. Rad. Eat something, sleep, look at the dirt. No, leave before the enchantment comes back. Alright, now I'm going to go... Well, let's see. We've gone all the way around. I think I'm going to go for the tower to the north of us next. Then the west of us. Then back through these towers and into the last tower over there. Maybe? Sleep here? Yeah, I guess. I mean, this seems like a bad place to sleep, but look into the water. The water is infinitely deep. Just sleep. Setting down your pack, you stretch out under your habit despite the cold. You have eaten nothing today. Oh, well, good thing I bought rations. No, never mind, I fought for those. Dream. However, it didn't count that I slept in there, man. You roll over, trying to sleep, but cannot seem to rest. After a while, you get to your feet and begin to walk into the darkness. Crumbling walls and broken towers move by on either side. You are walking by an old, crumbling building when you hear voices. Stop to listen. You listen closer, leaning against the wall. It sounds like a distant crowd, too far to be on the other side of the wall. Where are these voices coming from? Look over the wall. Looking over the wall, you see a missing brick. A green-gray mold has covered the gap, coating the interior with fuzz. Look at the mold. As you lean in to peer at the mold, you realize the voices are growing louder. Look at it. You squint, peering at the mold. It is unusually shaped and varied in color, with peaks and valleys. Tiny bumps dot the mold, along with the taller outcroppings that look like spires. But then something else catches your eye. Movement. Hundreds of tiny specks swarm across the surface of the brick, making circuits in all directions around the mold. What could they be? Follow the movement. You watch the hypnotic patterns in the mold, moving away this way and that. They seem to grow as you stare, becoming first veins, then branches, until finally streets and roads. The world around you is filling with gray, and the air turns to fuzz and smoke. Then you are sitting in a valley of soft gray grass. Look around. You get to your feet and look and take in the scenery. The hills around you are a riot of greens and purples. Blotches of strange growths make dancing patterns, and everything is covered in a fine fuzz. Look up. Overhead, the pitted underside of the next brick of the wall. It is rather... Overhead is... okay. It is rather like being in a cavern open on one side. The place you came from is indistinct. Everything out here is so large that it now becomes nearly impossible to discern. The hill you are sitting on obscures most of your vision. Perhaps you could get a better view from the top. Now, I'm fine, because I didn't crush anyone in the mold. I knew it was mold people. You climb the hill for a better view. You look down on another valley, ringed by hills, nestled at the foot of an extraordinary sight. Huts, creatures, a rotting bone the size of a whale. Huts. They are a curious mixture of mold, meat fragments, and scraps of cloth. From the looks of it, you could easily stay in one. There are a few dozens scattered around what looks like to be a disorganized village. A pavilion is set up in front of a half-eaten drumstick, which is the size of a fortress. A large altar dominates. It seems you have been spotted. Creatures are clambering towards you, blobs of mold with black, beady eyes and no mouths or limbs. Greet them. The creatures are hard to make out from the distance, but you see them hurrying to and fro in their huts. From the distance, they appear to be shapeless blobs about the color of mold. They seem like any other village inhabitants. They move along the ground simply by rolling. Just wait. You stay where you are, watching them climb. They are quite dexterous in their rolling, managing to stay in a straight, even line even as their eyes continually lose sight of their destination. Just like the mold of the hills and huts, they are covered in a soft fuzz and squish a little when making contact with the ground. How long is this dream? Am I actually dreaming? Because, usually the dreams are done in, 2 passages. One rolls forward and begins to speak in a rough imitation of the common tongue. Its voice sounds like a bag of pebbles, so it's a bit hard to follow. Welcome! We are the Gilus, and this is our home. You have been summoned by Milkor's magic. Would you like to come down to the village? Yes, I would. The Gilus puffs up with pleasure. Excellent! This way, please! I don't know what I don't know what kind of a voice Pebbles would sound like. What are you talking about? You will notice most do not speak your tongue. I myself only learned through careful study of passing thunderstorms. You follow the group down the hill. Oh, I get it. People talking are thunderstorms. You follow the group down the hill, chatting with your escort. You follow them to a village built upon thousands of levels and in thousands of directions, made of spindles and spires and webbed threads. The creatures gather around you, pawing at your body, your clothing and possessions, fascinated, appalled, and uninhibited. Who are you? We are memories of this place, the Gillis replies in chorus. This place is too old, and yet it lives. They try to feed you from the rotten meat around you, from the rotten meat from which this village sorry. I just thought I would lean into it so that I would stop messing up. Rotten meat around which their village is built. One tries to caress you with tendrils pushed deep into your nostrils. You cough and choke violently as the mold fills your mouth and eyes. Can I still cast magic? Did I become mold? Did I become a mold person? I hope not. I better be able to cast magic. It is early morning. You enter the next tower. 2 steps in, you freeze. A giant is standing in front of you. Cast the spell? Oh, phew! It's just a dream. Cast the spell. Well, actually, look at the giant. Giant is milling about the space without clear purpose. It is clearly some form of enchantment. You notice something else. Something large and white is hanging from the ceiling above you. Look up. You look up. The white thing near the ceiling looks back through 2 enormous eye sockets. It is a gigantic humanoid skull. Something drops down from it and hits the floor. It appears to be an oversized tooth. A moment later, the tooth begins to fizz. A cloud of smoke swells up, and it forms a giant. Another tooth tumbles from the skull into the ceiling. Just keep watching. Moments later, another giant steps forward. The room, despite its height, is starting to feel a little crowded. Cast a spell. What's the opposite of Yaz? Is it Yaz? Yob? Yeah, that's Yob. What's the opposite of Yob? I would think Gob. Tell, probably not. They probably don't got brains. Their enchantment's big. Fog? Summon darkness? I mean, that sounds like a real bad idea. Zen... Zob. That's probably the opposite of Yob, right? I bet. Zen. I'm gonna try Zen. Yeah, I hover into the air. Nope. Okay, so it's not Zen. I am floating, though. Big... I'm concerned about big. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna move to the next one. Make a move. Just go to next. I won't figure out what counters Yob. I'll just try to remember what spells were available next time. Okay, so I'm thinking... Shucks. I never went into these 2. I think I'm going to go into these 2, then go back, provided it's safe. North. Sorry, what? Flies overhead? Overhead. To the west, a walkway flies overhead. Overhead! A few clouds scud across the sky. This is a squat, fetid stone room, but in the center something is moving. Call out. Who's there? You demand? The creature, whatever it is, hisses in reply. Its form coils this way and that about the chamber. Step closer. You step closer to the creature. With a loud hissing and snorting noise, it rises up to its full height. It is a foul, many-faced hydra. Oh, I know exactly what to do. Dang, I can't rock. Maybe. No, that's not that counter. Walk. I'm gonna cast walk. Okay. So now I know I'm safe. Is there anything else I could do? Because that wasn't it. So it's not walk. How? Hot. Raz. Rock. Walk. Hot. I don't even know what spell this would be. What are you talking about? Is this Gek? No. Wait to see what it does. You wait, holding your place on the floor, but the creature does not advance. It simply moves its head this way and that. Talk to it. Greetings, creature. The creature spits, its face is snapping and hissing, but it seems it cannot talk. Look at it. You look over the serpent. Its faces are varied, and though all are foul, they seem to fight for dominance over the body. Draw my sword. Draw your sword, ready to engage the creature. But it comes no nearer. Walk around the creature. Moving cautiously, you slide around the creature, heading for the far door. The creature snaps at you, but makes no effort to approach. You reach the far door without incident. The brilliant shining tower is to the north, and that's going to be the last one Well, actually, I gotta go this time. Well, we'll see if it's complicated. You hurry across another stone arch, not looking down. Your shield shimmers out of existence. As the morning moves on, the wind begins to rise. Powerful light spills from the doorway. Even from here, it is all but overwhelming. Your eyes begin to water and run. Keep going. You take another few steps forward. The skin on your face and hands are beginning to burn. Turn back. Can I cast the spell? Aw, man. I'll figure it out next time, or I'll go back. I'll catch you later, though. Bye-bye.